and then the second one is business mathematics, and the third one is logic. So we're done with functions now. We'll be discussing business math and logic for the rest of the topics in general mathematics. So we will start with simple interest. But before that, I wanna ask you, what are some ways to take care of your hard-earned money? Ano ba yung mga ways paano magamit natin ng tama yung ating pinaghirapang pera? Can you use the chat box? Can you give me some ways on how you are going to take good care of your hard-earned money? According to Daniela Salazar, it has something to do with budgeting. From Christina, budgeting. From Chini, ilagay natin um, sa bangko, savings. From Christina. From Jersey Rain, you have to list down all your expenses and making a daily budget. That's correct. Set a budget, put it into a bank in savings. Okay? Investment, that is also correct. So, um, in other words, when you have those hard-earned money, the expenses must not exceed the yung salary. Kasi the moment that the expenses exceeds the salary, that's the time that the debt will be incurred. Okay? Um, some business establishment and individuals who are in need of money for financial and business purposes borrow money and agree to pay a certain percentage. That certain percentage is an exchange for the privilege of using the borrowed money. So a debt, yung utang, is incurred when a person or institution borrows money. Kaya lang yung utang natin or na inutang natin sa bangko sa ibang financial institution, papasok pa. Yung perang inutang natin sa mga financial institution, when used wisely, hindi ka naglo-loan para sa luho lamang, kundi para sa investment, when used wisely, it will create a mutualistic relationship between the borrower, yung umuutang, and the lender, yung nagpapautang. Okay? Nagiging mutualistic relationship siya sa borrower at sa lender when both parties benefit. How do in what way both parties benefit? The lender's money earns interest, and the borrower gets something he needs. So for example, depositing money in a savings account is like lending money to the bank, which creates interest. Kapag ikaw ay nagsisave ka sa bangko, hindi ibig sabihin, kapag ikaw ay nagsisave sa bangko, ibig sabihin, binibigyan mo ng karapatan, ng laya, ang bangko na gamitin yung pera mo para ipahiram naman yan sa iba. Okay? Yung savings mo sa bangko, nag-generate yan ng interest na less than 1%, at ginagamit din niya ng mga bangko para ipahiram niya sa iba nilang kliyente na nag-generate roughly nasa 7 to 12% interest annually. Okay? So the price of the borrowed money in the form of interest rates not only affects the individual and the business, but as well as the economy. Kasi mas marami ang nagsasave, mas lumalago ngayon ang ekonomiya ng isang bansa. Okay? So we are going to encounter some of these terms. So let us unlock what does these terms mean. We will start with a lender or creditor. When you say a lender or creditor, it's a person or institution who invests the money or makes the funds available. Siya yung nagpapautang. Lender. The second one is the borrower. The borrower or the debtor, it's a person or it's an organization or it's an institution who owes the money or avails the funds from the lender. Ito naman yung ito naman yung umuutang o humihiram ng pera. I'm sorry for the term umuutang kasi we are dealing here with business mathematics. Hindi talaga natin maiwasan na gamitin ang salitang utang. Then we also have the loan date, date on which money is received by the borrower. The yung maturity date noong loan mo ay, for example, that's 3 years. And then you receive the money May 24. Yung May 24, dun magsisimula ngayon yung loan mo hanggang 2021, 2024. Okay? So kung nag-apply ka ng loan, April, pero na-approve siya ng May 24, magsisimula ang interest niyan, magsisimula ang loan mo rather ng May 24. Hindi yung araw na nag-apply ka ng loan. The next one, we also have repayment date or maturity date. It's a date on which the money borrowed or loaned is to be completely repaid. Okay? So there are many ways on how the mode or the payments of the maturity, the payment of the loan. It could be on a monthly basis, it could be on a semi-annually, it could be annually, or it could be one lump sum. When you say one lump sum, you are going to return the money, including the interest generated, na isang bagsakan lamang. Okay? Normally, nangyayari yan if the government borrows money from the, like for example, dito sa World Bank, nanghihiram siya ng pera para paggamit ng gobyerno para sa mga projects niya. Usually, ang ginagawa dyan, yung one lump sum. We also have the time or term. It's the amount of time in years the money is borrowed or invested. The length of the time between the origin and the maturity date. The maturity date, that's the date when you have to repay completely all the borrowed money, including the incurred interest. The principal, it's the amount of money borrowed or invested rather on the original date. Yun yung halaga ng pera na hiniram mo o niloan mo sa isang financial institution. And then we also have the rate. Usually it's in annual rate, usually in percent. So charged by the lender or rate of increase of the investment. Kapag nagsisave ka ng pera sa bangko, let's say for example, Philippine National Bank, the money that you save in the bank generates 0.9, kung di ako nagkakamali, 0.099, parang wala pa siyang 1%. Pag palagay natin 99%, 0.99% ang generate ng pera mo taon-taon. So kung meron kang investment na 10,000, i-times mo yan sa 0.99, ang interest niyan na generate sa isang taon ay 99 pesos. I hope you can figure out 10,000 ang investment mo sa Philippine National Bank at 0.99% interest, kumita ang pera mo ng 99 pesos sa loob ng isang taon. Okay? That 99 pesos is subject to 20% tax. Yung 20% tax na yun ay mapupunta sa gobyerno. So yung 99 pesos na kinita mo sa investment mo na 10,000, ang talagang napunta lang sa'yo dyan ay 80% talaga. Ang talagang napunta sa'yo ay 79 pesos and 2 centavos. Pero yung 10,000 mo na investment sa isang bangko will be used by the bank para mapautang naman niya yung ibang kliyente nila at 10 to 12% interest annually. So you see the difference? Nag-invest ka, 0.99%, ginamit ng bangko ang pera mo at pinautang nila, pinatungan nila ng 10 to 12%. It makes sense kasi unang-una, ang ginagamit na pampasweldo ng bangko sa mga manager nila, sa mga security guard, rent doon sa kanilang establishment and others will be coming from the interest na nag-generate doon sa mga pinautang nilang pera. Kuryente, doon nila kinukuha lahat. Okay? So, importante talaga na kapag ka naglo-loan ka, ginagamit mo talaga siya sa investment. Kasi hindi siya recommended na mag-loan ka sa bangko and eventually yung loan mo sa bangko, sinave mo lang. Kasi para kang ginigisa sa sarili mong mantika. Next, we have the interest. It's the amount paid or earned for the use of the money. This is the amount that you are going to repay to the financial institution on top of the principal money that you borrowed. Okay? So we also have simple interest. Simple interest is that interest that is computed on the principal and then added to it. Ang simple interest is different from compound interest. Let me read first the compound interest. Compound interest is that interest compounded on the principal and also on the accumulated paid interest. I have to stress out this word, accumulated past interest. Let's take it into the context of nangungutang. Pag sinabing simple interest, ang nag-i-interest lang dyan, yung principal amount. If in case, whatever happens or any incident, that you are not going to repay the money on the certain period that you agreed, ang mag-i-interest lang dyan, yun lamang principal amount. Okay? So, meron kang 10,000, ibabalik mo yan sa may-ari sa loob ng 10 months. Mag-i-interest siya ng 1,000 kunyari. Nagma-monthly ka ng 1,100. Monthly ka ng 1,100. So, ibig sabihin, yung 1,100, 100 doon para sa interest. Yung 1,000 principal amount. Kapag hindi ka makabayad ngayong buwan na to, ang nag-generate lang ng interest dyan, yung 1,000 lang. Hindi yung 1,100. Unlike for the compound interest, in the event that you cannot repay the monthly installment or the monthly amortization, ang interest ay nanganganak ng interest. Ang interest na interest ay nanganganak ng interest ng interest ng interest. Credit card, for example. When you can't pay your monthly credit card ang pinakamalaking may interest sa lahat ng utang. When you can't pay the credit card before your due date, yung certain amount niyan, kasi may interest yan eh, yung certain amount, including the interest, will generate additional portion or percentage. I'm not familiar with the percentage doon sa credit card kapag hindi ka nakapagbayad. The following month, hindi ka ulit nagbayad, yung interest no, nanganganak ulit siya ng panibagong interest. Sa simple interest, ang principal amount lamang ang nanganganak ng interest. Okay? We also have the maturity value or future value. That is actually the amount after the 3 years that the lender receives from the borrower on the maturity date. Okay? So, this will be the formula for the simple interest. I am not going to derive anymore the simple interest because that's already included in the module that I forwarded to you earlier at yung buong module last week. Simple interest can be computed. I is equal to the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. The future value here is equal to the interest plus the principal. Yun yung kapag sabing future value, that's the amount of your money, investment yan, after a certain period of time. That's a combination of interest generated and the principal amount. When it comes to the context of the borrower, when you say future value, that's the amount that he or she will be going to repay the financial institution. That's a combination of the interest generated and the principal amount. Let's use this formula to answer this question. I hope you have with you your calculator. A bank offers 0.25% annual simple interest rate for a particular deposit. How much interest will be earned if 1,000 1 million pesos into the savings account for 100. I suggest you have to list down all the given. So the given there is that 0.5%, which is the rate. The rate is 0.25%. When converted into decimal, that is equivalent to 0.0025. Simple interest. And then the principal amount there is 1 million. The time is 1 year. The question is, how much interest? And we know that interest is equal to the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. It's 1 million pesos multiplied by 0.0025 multiplied by 1. Ibig sabihin, yung investment na 1 million, mag-generate yan ng, can you help me? What's the interest generated? Correct, Miguel, 2,500. Take note, yung interest na to na 2,500, subject for 20% government tax pa to. Hindi talaga ito yung buong makukuha mo or madadagdag doon sa pera mo kasi babawasan pa yan ng 20%. I-assume lang natin na ang lahat ng computation dito ay hindi muna tatanggalan natin ng tax. So, ibig sabihin, so thus, the interest earned is 2,500. You can rephrase the conclusion that after 1 year, the 1 million pesos investment generated 2,500 pesos interest. Pero kapag yan ay pinautang sa bangko, 1 million pesos, 10 to 12% yan. Meron pa yung kasamang processing fee na 5% minsan ng total amount. Question so far? Silence means no. Okay, I hope I am getting the signal clear that you understand example 1. Let's have example 2. Can you try? Sige. How much interest is charged when 50,000 is borrowed for 9 months at an annual interest rate of 10%? Ang interest natin usually in years, not in months. So kung naka 9 months yan, that's 9/12. I will give you 3 minutes. How much is the interest when you have or when you borrow 50,000 for 9 months at an annual interest rate of 10%? Miguela's answer is 3,750. What about the others? Christina also answered 3,700. Okay. If you're going to examine the problem, the number of years there, Jersey Rain 3,750, the number of years there is given in months. When that happened, the principal amount there is 50,000. The rate there is 10%, which is equivalent to 0.10. and the time there is 9 months. Since time is usually given in years, that will be 9 over 12. So the interest there is PRT. The principal amount is 50,000. You multiply it by 0.10, you multiply it by 9 over 12, that will give you 3,750. So hence, the 50,000 pesos borrowed money earns a 3,750 interest. Okay? That is sub number 3. Sige, i-ano nyo muna, i-absorb nyo muna yung um, solution. No question. Let's have number 3. Can you try number 3? Tinatanong niya dito ay ang principal amount. How much money was originally invested? We'll give you 7:53, 3 minutes. Oh, we have diverse answer here from Lorelei, 1,568. 1,500 din kay Audrey. From Chini, 12,000. From Fritz, 15,000. From Marian, 80,000. Does it make sense when you are going to borrow money at an amount of 1,568 and yet the interest generated is 11 times kasi ang interest niya ay 11,200? Makatarungan ba na nangutang ka ng 1,568 tapos yung interest niya pagkatapos ng ilang taon ba to? Pagkatapos ng 2 taon, ang interest niya ay 11,000. Uutang ka pa kaya? Okay, let's solve this one. Kasi baka nalito kung paano gawin. List down all the given. We have the rate there is 7%, which is equivalent to 0.07. The time is invested at 2 years. Ay, hindi pala ito utang, investment. So, hindi makatarungan na nag-save ka sa bangko ng 1,500 tapos pagkatapos ng 2 taon, 11,200 ang interest. Unless, yan ay scam. And then the principal amount is missing. The interest earned is 11,200. Ganito ang gagawin nyo. So the interest there is the principal times rate times time. Interest natin dito ay 11,200. Ang principal is missing. Ang rate natin ay 0.07 at ang hour time ay 2 years. Since we are looking for the principal amount, you divide this one by 0.07, and to balance the equation, you also divide this by 0.07 times 2. You can cancel now. And the principal amount is 11,200 divided by 0.07 times 2. That's 80,000. I think Marian Verdera got it correctly. Christina also got it correctly. And Miguela. So the original investment, ako pasensya na kayo may nagpupukpok, was 80,000 pesos. At makatarungan, kasi simple interest lang naman to, na nag-invest ka ng 80,000, pagkatapos ng 2 years, 7% na yun, yung. Pagkatapos ng 2 years, 11,000 yung kanyang na-earn na interest at 7%. Question? Ikot lang sa I equals PRT. Yung pinorward ko na module, pinagsama ang compound at saka simple. Ako paghiwalayin ko. Next week yung compound interest. So para ma-visualize nyo, ano ba investment? Simple interest or compound interest? Ano bang magandang utangan? Simple interest or compound interest? Okay, let's have number 4. We'll give you another 3 minutes. Rudolph borrowed 20,000 with an interest of 3,150. The rate of the interest is at 10.5%. 10.5% is 10.5. When is the borrowed money? Ano yung when? Ano hinahanap natin? When? Kailan ang inutang na pera magmamature? Ang tinatanong ay time. I'll give you 3 minutes. According to Christina, the borrowed money is due after 1.5 years. Year. From Miguela, 1 year and 6 months. So 1.5 year din yun. What about the others? Kailan ang maturity date ng borrowed money? One year and 6 months. Okay. The process is the same with how we solve question number 3. So first, we are going to list down the given. We will start with the principal amount, which is 20,000. The interest generated is 330. Rate is at 10. Ito nawawala. Hello. 10 and 1. Ito choppy ba ako? Hindi ko marinig ang sarili ko. Oh my God. Sige. Choppy nga. Again, we are going to list down the given. Start with the 20,000 principal amount. The interest there is 3,150, and the interest rate is at 10.5%, which is equivalent to 10.5%, which is equivalent to 0.105 when converted to decimal. Kapag nagkakaroon kayo ng problema how to convert percent to decimal, you just have to move the decimal point to the right, to the left, from percent to decimal. From decimal to percent, move the decimal point 2 places to the right, isa to the left. The time there is missing, or the time there is being asked in the problem. So we know that the interest is the principal rate times time. The principal amount is at 3,000. I mean the interest rather 3,150. Principal is 20,000. The rate is at 0.105 and the time is missing. So para makuha mo to yung time, i-divide this one by 0.105. Ito naman, 20,000 divide times 0.05. Cancel this, cancel this. So ang time mo dito ay 3,150 divided by 20,000 times 0.105. So time there is 1 year and 6 months. So therefore, the amount borrowed is due after 1 year and 6 months. You can revise the conclusion as the amount borrowed is due after 1.5 years. Careful ka lang sa i-half. Careful ka lang sa 1/2 kasi ang ating year is 12 months. Baka mag 1.5 months ka dyan. Careful kayo doon. Question? Let's have the fifth one. We'll give you 3 minutes. So the same lang siya sa number 3 and number 4, but this time, the problem asks the interest rate being charged. When the problem asks for the interest rate, your answer must be converted to percent and not in decimal. Majority answered 10.5. Miguela, Marian, Christina, Den, Charis, Lorelai. The correct answer is 10.5%. Pwede ba hindi ko isulat yung given? Sige, we have the interest here as copy. If an entrepreneur applies for a loan amounting to 500,000 pesos in the bank, that's the principal amount. The simple interest of which is 157,500. So 157,500 for 3 years. So I here is equal to PRT. So I is 157,000. Malaki ng interest, ano? Is equal times 3 years. So divide this by 500,000 times 3. 157,500. Choppy ako. 157,500 over 500,000 multiplied by 3. So when simplifying it, that is equivalent to 0.105, or converted into percent, it's 10.5%. The rate is 10.5%. Very good. Now let's have the last one. Gusto ko isipan yung maigi pa paano to gawin. Future value, for dalawa kasi ang tinatanong, find the original amount and the interest earned. Remember that the future value is equal to the principal amount plus the interest. Go. Umikot-ikot ba yung sagot? You have to get the original amount first. The original amount is 444,000. At para ang laki ng interest din. Mas malaki ang interest kaysa original. 15 months lang naman yung pera hiniram eh. Okay, so let's solve this one. Place some amount for an investment generating the final amount of 69,375. So the final amount there or final value is 69,375. Simple interest rate for 15 months, that's 15 months, which is equal to 15 over 12. Because interest rate is generated annually. Find the original amount, that's P, and the interest is missing. Now remember that the final value is given as I plus P. Final value, ang alam natin kay I by substitution is PRT plus P. Ang interest is given as PRT. So by factoring, we can factor this as P, PRT divided by P, that's RT, P divided by P, that's 1. Nag-derive tayo ng formula. Future value there is 69,375. Missing ang principal amount. The rate there is 15 over 12. Ang ating time is time. Ay, ang rate pala ay 12%. Hindi ko nasulat. Time pala to. Time to, ang rate ay 12.5% or 0.125. So 0.125 plus 1. So divide ko to ngayon ng, i-ano mo natin, i-simplify. 15 over 12 plus times 0.105, 0.125 plus 1, that's 37 over 32. Gawin ko lang siyang fraction para hindi ako mahirapan. Pero pwede mo siyang i-convert into decimal as 15,625. So divide this one by 37 over 32. Divide this one by 37 over 32. So you can cancel this. The principal amount that there is 69,375 divided by 37 over 32. That will give us 60,000 pesos. So the final value is I plus P. Ang ating 69,375 minus ngayon ng 60,000. Yun yung interest. So, interest natin ay 9,375. This is the interest and this is the principal. So hence, the original amount was 60,000 And the interest was 9,370. Hindi nyo na-realize na mag-ano, no? Mag-derive ng formula from F is equal to P plus I. Question? If no question, this will serve as your activity number 1 to 10. When you say per annum, that's per year. Okay? Let me get the attendance first. Screenshot mo muna kasi bukas ko pa yan masisend.